Sometimes it is difficult to stay focused on your present rather than on your past and the future aspirations that you have. Sometimes in our quest of ambition, we end up not enjoying the opportunities that there are for us in the present moment because we are fixated on what could be, what can be, who we wish we can become, and all the lofty dreams and aspirations we have. Sometimes we are also stuck because there is a presence of the past that is taking hold of our now. We are not able to move on from the past failures. We are not able to move on from the joys of the past, the glories of the past. So our present is stagnant because there's the past living in our present. And once our present is not free from the past and from the future, it will have no opportunity to blossom in its abilities and what it can achieve. And this is what leads us to the topic for today, an important concept in the world of Gestalt psychology and Gestalt therapy. Living in the here and now. Now, the principle of here and now comes from the fact that as human beings, as individuals, we are always seeking that sense of completeness or wholeness. And in that seeking for completeness or wholeness, when there are gaps, when we feel life is not making sense, things are not adding up, it becomes a source of frustration for many of us. And we are not able to have a sound mental health, and we are not able to lead a productive life because we are caught up in the past that hurt us, in the past that looks better than the present, in the future that we do not know so much what will happen, in the goals and aspirations of the future that are only a mirage, that are only aspirations. The reality of our lives is embodied in our present. And so the founder of Gestalt Therapy had this to say, and he says that there is no other reality than the present. Whatever happened in the past, whatever experiences you had from the past, whether positive or negative, do not define the reality of who you are today. They have an influence because at the end of the day, who you are is affected or influenced by where you are coming from. The person that you are today, the opportunities that you have today are influenced from the past. Now, a philosopher known as Maurice Merleau-Ponty, made an important observation. And he says that the present is not shut up in itself, but transcends towards a future and a past. So it is our understanding that whatever we are now, whoever we are now, whatever circumstances we find ourselves in now, whether positive or negative, there are elements that we can trace from our past, and there are some elements from the future that we can trace to the present circumstance and who we are. However, it is important not to dwell on the past or the future, because the reality of our lives is captured in the now. And being able to focus on now, who you are, the opportunities you have, the strengths, the abilities that you have now, and the unique circumstances of your today is important if you want to maintain a sound mental health and a productive life. What does it mean to live in the here and now? Borrowing from the concept of here and now from the world of Gestalt Therapy. Number one, when we say living in the here and now, what we mean to suggest is that you live your life focusing on building an awareness of yourself, a sense of self, and an increased awareness of your environment. And by the environment, we are looking at your physical environment. We are looking at your social environment. We are looking at your financial environment, your spiritual environment. Having an increased awareness of who you are now and the opportunities that surround you now, irrespective of what your experiences from the past may be or your expectations or aspirations for the future. Number two, living in the here and now means that making choices and decisions based on the now rather than on the past and on the future. In as much as the past is important in understanding ourselves and our lives, in as much as the future is important in understanding where we are going and who we are, the choices that we make should be grounded more specifically. The larger focus should be on who you are, what your values are, and what opportunities you have in the present. If not, we take steps that are injurious to our future because of the criticisms from our past, the challenges from our past, and the fears from our past. Many people are locked up in the past. They have a lot of businesses unfinished matters that they have not been able to resolve. They've not been able to close certain chapters relating to their disappointments and failures. And because of that, every decision they are making now is influenced by the pain of the past. And they lose good opportunities, good friendships, good, opportunities that come their way go waste because of that fixation of the past. So making decisions and choices based on the present rather than the past is important. The third key thing that we mean by living in the present is being able to be a congruent individual in mind and in deeds. Now, when you go into person-centered therapy and the ideas of a man called Carl Rogers in understanding the real self and the ideal self, where we know your real self as who you are now, the privileges you have now, the strengths you have now, the opportunities you have now, and the ideal self being your expected future, who you wish you were, the opportunities you wish you have or you hope you will have. The ideal self is the self that you are anticipating or wish you were now. And the real self is who you are now and the self that is your present reality. Now, in building a certain sense of wholeness, closing that gap between who you are now, the realities of your now, the opportunities you have, your financial status, whoever you are now, the resources that you can have access to, closing the gap between that and the anticipated future. Sometimes it's even the dreams that we had growing up that become a stumbling block for a happy today. Closing the gap becomes important so that we will feel that sense of wholeness that Gestalt psychology, talks about. So living in the here and now means that being able to build that congruence, closing the gap between your real self and your ideal self. Now, how can we live in the here and now? How can we learn to live in the present? The first key thing we can talk about is being one who knows your values and your expectations of life. Now, many times we are stuck in the past because we do not really know what we want in this life. We have not established an identity of who we are and what we expect life to be. So we are just in it. And so the winds of our past can come in and blow us anywhere. The future aspirations keep changing based on new things that come, new advice, and all the trends that come, because we are not grounded in a certain identity. Who are you? What does life mean to you? What does it mean to you to be productive? What does it mean to you to be a useful asset to your society? What does life mean to you? Getting to that point where you understand who you are, what your values are, what you cherish in life is important as a way of helping you to stay in the present. So no matter what has happened in my past, no matter the failures that I've had, the challenges that I've had in my past growing up as a child, the opportunities I was hoping for that couldn't come to be. If I understand that to me, life means being able to do what I am able to do and doing it well, then I'll concentrate on how I can improve on myself so that in my work, in ministry, in whatever I get myself doing, I'll be able to do it and enjoy it. Yes, there are expectations for promotion. There are various, hopes for the future. But if I can understand my values and what is important to me, it will help me to focus on what is important for making my life meaningful and productive now. So as a teacher, what are your core values? What do you cherish? If you understand who you are and why you are teaching, then you will not be preoccupied so much with the future and where you want to be, or the past and the fact that you wanted to become a doctor and life has brought you here. You will rather focus on how can I make my teaching experience better so that my students can get better and better and I'll find fulfillment in what I'm doing. It is said that man, know thyself. You cannot stay in the here and now and be able to take advantage of the opportunities of the present and have a happy today if you do not know who you are and clearly establish your values and expectations about life. The second key thing in learning to live in the here and now is being able to identify your resources. One of the challenges for many people, frustrated because of life and various things, going through anxiety and depression and all the challenges of being stuck, is because we are not able to identify what we have. And I am one who loves this particular account in the Bible, in Acts chapter 3, where Peter and John met this man who had been crippled for many years at the gate of the temple. And he was asking for alms from Peter and John. But Peter looked at him intently. The man was expecting to receive something, receive some money as he had been receiving all the years. But Peter said something, that silver and gold I do not have, but what I have I give you. So he goes ahead to, get such a miracle to happen where this man is able to get up and walk. What is the point I'm trying to make? The point here is that you see a man who in the moment was not looking for how he can get money that probably he didn't have on him, but he knew he had a certain resource that could be beneficial to the individual who was seeking help. What do you have? You cannot give what you do not have. And if you do not know what you have, you will not be able to engage life to a level where you will find fulfillment. So identifying your strengths, identifying your abilities, very important. Identifying people around you who can give you wise counsel. That can be something that helps you to stay now. Somebody may have given you a bad advice in the past, and that has led you here to the point where you are struggling. But if you focus on that past experience and you are not able to come to the present and realize the human resources around you who could be helpful, you will not be able to make progress. So understanding that even though there may have been experiences from the past about people giving advice and all that hasn't been helpful, I can still focus on here and now and see individuals that can be of help to me in one way or the other. Knowing the resources you have, personal resources, human resources, and around you, the opportunities that are there for you that you may have missed. Sometimes if we bring our mind to the present and look around us, we would realize that maybe we spend so much time ruminating about our past and how things failed, about the future and how there's a lot that we need to achieve. And that became why we remained stuck. So be intentional about identifying your resources. So if you have plans for further studies, what are the current opportunities that are there for me to work while I wait? What are the opportunities for me to volunteer while I wait? So in the present, what can I be doing so that I will focus my energy on that? And that is what leads us to the third point of how to live in the present, the here and now. Engaging fully in activities, what we call staying in flow. Sometimes you are there and you realize that your mind is straying into the past and bringing memories about your past relationships and things that are negative, and that is what begins to make you feel anxious and frustrated. It happens. The mind is a traveler, but it is important how you determine where it stays. We mentioned early on that some people's mind stay in the past and some people's mind stays in the future. But it is said that staying in the present with your mind is very important. You can allow it to visit your past and your future, but make sure that it is staying in the present. And staying in the present will mean that if I am at a meeting, I am fully engaged. I am asking questions. I'm contributing, so that that contribution and that engagement in that activity will keep me in the present. If I fail to stay in that moment and engage in that meeting, contribute, pay attention, when my mind is swaying, I ask a question or make a contribution so that I feel involved. If I do that, it helps me to allow my mind, who is trying to visit the past or visit the future, to come back to its abode, the here and now. So the meeting environment becomes my focus, and the activity I'm engaged in becomes where I stay tuned in. And when we say that you are in a state of flow, it means that you are fully engaged, you are fully focused. So if it is in a religious meeting, in a prayer meeting, you are focused on praying, you are actually praying, you are engaged in the activity. If it is a note you are writing, an account you are working on, balancing certain books, you are so focused on it. That is being in a state of flow. So the unfortunate thing is that many times we are not able to spend time doing what we need to do. So the phone becomes a distraction when you have people around you, you have your partner around. They want to engage in a conversation, but you are focused on your phone, WhatsApping. We are on social media, and the phone becomes a distraction to staying in the present. Because once I get onto Facebook, once I get onto Instagram, I'll see somebody's post, and the post takes me to something that probably I'm expecting, and you begin to look at how you wish you were that person. And there's a lot of traveling that is happening. Staying in the present, here and now, means that I put the phone away. Every distraction, I put them away so that I can focus on the conversation I'm having. I can focus on the beach I have gone to and savor the environment, the breeze and everything. Engaging fully is important. And in relation to engaging fully in activities, whether it is talking to someone, working on assignment, praying, doing whatever it is, staying in flow, the fourth key thing you need to do in order to be able to live in the present, stay in the here and now, is to practice mindfulness. So sensory awareness exercises that help you to stay in the moment. Now, if we say you are practicing sensory awareness or mindfulness exercises, you could be using your five senses. All your senses can be engaged to help you stay in the moment. So as I'm doing this video, if I realize that my mind is now going to the fact that it may rain, and that is a distraction. Mindfulness says that I should focus on the camera. So I can use my sight, my sense of sight, to take an image within this environment that will help me to stay here, If I am working on an account, I'm doing something, and I realize that my mind is going all over the place into areas that are distractive, I can use my sense of hearing to help me stay in the moment. So if the laptop has that feature, I could turn on the read aloud, where the content on the screen will be read aloud for me, so that, and I have an audio reader, so that the content I'm working on will be read to me, and that helps me to stay here rather than elsewhere. And the mind is powerful. Your brain is very powerful. It processes information that you want it to process. Sometimes it will sway. Various things will come in, but they are only passengers. They have a destination that you can drop them off. If you decide to keep them on, you pay attention to them, they'll follow you to destinations that they are not supposed to go to. So practice mindfulness. Use your senses. If I realize that I'm feeling a bit, all over the place, there's something that happened, a news I heard that is making me unproductive for the day, I can engage with someone, have a conversation about something that relates to what I'm supposed to be doing today, so that that keeps me engaged. As I'm listening to them, as I'm hearing them, it's bringing me to the moment, to today, and to the things that need to be done. Very, very important. The final thing that you can do is to keep a gratitude journal. Writing the things that you are happy about, the things that you are grateful for, is important. You can do a journal where it is your gratitude journal. What are 2 things I am grateful for today? What are 2 things I was able to do that was helpful to somebody today? So the focus is on today, so that every day I am living in the present. I'm not living in the past and the glories of the past, what I used to do for people. Hey, and you see some people can recount how, I used to do this. What are you doing now? And what are you grateful for now? If you are not able to count your blessings that are happening to you every day, you will soon be caught up in the past, where the blessings you are focused on will be keeping you there, and you will forget that there are new blessings that are coming. The good thing about keeping a gratitude journal or having an everyday gratitude mindset is that it helps you not to stray so far into the future or too far into the past. You stay here and now. You may have, failed an exam last semester. It is something that you are not happy with, but there's something that you can be grateful for today. Focus on it, write it down, and think or ponder over that particular thing. And it can be a good way that helps you to stay in the here and now, and avoid all the stress and anxiety that comes with not knowing so much of what may happen to you tomorrow, and not, appreciating what the past experiences have been to you. So practice gratitude. Cultivate this habit of being thankful for your life today and for specific things that are happening in the present moment. As I sit here, as I'm going about, what can I be grateful for? I can always be grateful for the fact that I breathe. I can always be grateful for the fact that I'm alive. In the present, in the moment, I need to take time to appreciate all the good things around me. Some people are bitter because certain friends disappointed them, and they are holding on to that past disappointment. They wanted a certain opportunity and they didn't get it. They want something to happen to them, and as things are looking, it looks like that thing will not come. They will not get that visa. They will not get that opportunity. And that becomes a source of worry and constant stress. Hello, you want to focus on what you can be grateful for today. I believe that this video has been useful to you. We have been talking about how to stay in the present, living in the here and now. And I'm believing that you will learn to appreciate the beauty of today. And always keep in mind, as Spell says, that there's no other reality than the present. The past is important. It is the background to our present. The future is important. It helps us to know exactly what we can be doing in order to get what we want. However, if you remain fixated and ruminate so much about the past and about the future, you may not be able to enjoy the beauty of today. Be fully engaged in everything that you find yourself doing, personal, spiritual, social, and I believe that you will have a happy and more fulfilling life, and your mental well-being will remain sound and super. Thank you. Subscribe to the channel, follow me, like the video, and share it with others if you found it useful. I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye-bye.